What's up, lovers? It's D. Marie Love on Keep It Scripted. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the first time. Now, I have been waiting impatiently for months for the season 7 premiere of The Walking Dead. I just went into this episode saying I know exactly what's gonna happen. I was all cocky about it. You know, as we got closer and closer, I'm like, I'm not ready. Even though I knew in my head and I have record of it. Alright, I said it plenty of times. I think at first I was like, I know for sure Glenn. Then I started thinking, well, they said they're taking a hard left turn from the comics, so what if they kill 2 people? Then I killed Glenn and Maggie because Maggie's pregnant and they don't want to be bothered with having to deal with another child on this show. Like, I love me baby Judith, but having 2 babies at the same time on the show could be like a hindrance to storytelling and kind of a nuisance. I was like, Maggie is gonna die, or she's for sure not gonna go to term with this baby. As we got closer, I was like, you know what? I think it might be Abraham. But I still wasn't 100% sold on that. I have to get into my thoughts about this episode. So I'm reviewing this episode the day after I watched it, because I watched it Sunday night. I was so hyped for this. I wanted this so bad. I was one of those people who's angry about the cliffhanger and the long, ridiculous wait to the reveal. 6 fucking months. You gonna leave a cliffhanger that huge and let us dangle for 6 fucking months? You know what could happen in 6 months? I could die in 6 months and never fucking find out who the fuck Negan killed. That's not right. I'm okay now because it's the day after, but when I first watched this show, I was a complete emotional wreck. And granted, I cried for everything. I've cried during so many movies and TV shows that it didn't make sense. But this, it wasn't just like a cry. Like, my heart was broken having to see it. Like, I hurt so much and it actually became like an anger. But anyways, the acting, they have found the perfect group, most talented group of actors. Seriously, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a sight to behold as Negan. He's a very handsome, good looking man with a great voice, and I like to look at him on my TV screen.
Get down on the ground, kid, next to daddy. Spread them wings.
And as like physically perfect as he is, when he's going into his full angry Neganness and his villainy, he's like being an asshole to Rick, and he's making him fetch like a dog. His face like literally morphed into like this evil, ugly man who's just reveling in his evil. He's gonna bring a lot to this role, and it's not gonna just be a surface villain. He's going to bring more to it, kind of like the actor who played the governor did for the governor, even though I think the governor may be more evil than Negan, and I'll get to that in another video. Everybody in the scene, from Rosita to Aaron to Sasha to Eugene to my boy Abe, all of them, they just brought it with the acting. The emotionless Carl kind of confused me, because what is this emotional block that he has right now, and how did he achieve it? Because even Rick and Daryl haven't achieved an emotional block to this point. You did just see 2 people that you know and grown close with die horribly. So how are you this okay? Andrew Lincoln has to be one of the greatest actors on television right now. I'll state that strongly, and I'll stand by it. When I watch him, I don't feel like I'm watching someone who's acting great. I feel like I'm watching Rick Grimes when he's being the Rictator, or when he's having his happy moments, when he's trying to be a father, or when he's completely and utterly breaking down into a former shell of himself.
Please!
I feel like I'm actually watching that happen to Rick Grimes. I don't feel like I'm just watching a great actor. That was the acting. So this episode came, and I thought for sure like they're gonna kick it right off with the scene and show us who died, because it's been 6.5 months. Like, they can't possibly milk this anymore. And what do? They milk it. You guys are really just literally being assholes at this point. Finally, you are it. It's Abraham. when Negan was going down the line, Abraham's not crying, he's not sputtering, ain't no tears in his eye. He's looking Negan right in his eye, like, he even like kind of raised up a little bit. I just like Abraham. He was so strong and he represented the strength of the group. He really did. And he looked at Negan and the way he rose up. Now I feel like he did want Negan to pick him. Like he was willing to make that sacrifice. It didn't break down. Kept his eyes on Negan. He flashed a peace sign to Sasha because you know that's their little insider. And that was his goodbye to her. And that's even more heartbreaking. And he took it like a champ. And he had to get that one last one-liner to suck my nuts. And now he's gone. And that should have been the end of it. Now we're getting into some of the bad, which was a whole lot. Because I know it may not have seemed like it's thus far. But I was not entirely happy with this episode. No. And I'm still not sure if I'm continue. Listen. And it's not just me on like emotion, man. Like this episode was a fucking lot for me. I know what happens in the comics. That is one comic that I actually did read through was issue 100. Okay, I know exactly. And even I can handle gore. I really can. I am a slasher flick queen. I've watched some shit. Okay, even I'll say things are gross all the time, but I'll still be like watching it without an issue. Going into this, I just really had the mindset like, oh, I know I'm going to see something crazy that I don't really want to see. Like, I know this. But I still didn't expect it to be to that level because it's AMC. It's not HBO. It's not an R-rated movie. And I'm like, if Negan can't even say the F word, they're not going to really show us somebody with their heads and brains bashed in. Like, that's 10 times worse than the F word. So if you're going to show that shit, then let Negan curse as much as he wants, okay? Because let's really talk about which one's worse. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I just really didn't expect... Listen, it's not... These are not the bad guys that we see getting destroyed. It wasn't just some secondary characters. These were characters, the good guys. And it is a debate whether Rick is considered a good guy. But Glenn was a good guy. And out of everyone in this group, he deserved that type of death the least. And he never wanted to kill anybody. Now, they took out a whole bunch of saviors and Glenn ended up killing 2 people. One of the kills was to prevent Heath from doing it and ruining his own fucking life. So Glenn did it, but I mean, they're killing saviors who also killed a whole bunch of other people. And I'm not justifying Rick and them going in and taking everybody out. I'm not. But when it comes to Glenn specifically, it's just not even comparison on like the heinous shit that they've done. Like he's definitely the most innocent of this group, and he's just been a genuinely good guy. He's kind of like Morgan when it comes to preserving human life, just not, I guess, not as intense about it. When that happened, I was like, yeah, Glenn's like really gonna fucking die. And he's looking at the pictures of everybody with the bashing heads. I'm like, Glenn's going to die, and I had made peace with that. He definitely did not deserve a death like this. He took the first hit and his head is completely caved in, and he's trying to get his last words out to Maggie, and he's suffering, and that's what made it so much worse. That not that he died because I had made my peace that he wasn't going to be on the show anymore, but it's the way he had to die. It was too much for me how much they showed it. It's not, he didn't even have the second to make peace with that he was going to die like Abraham did, because Negan picked Abraham, and then he had about 15 seconds to completely be like, okay, this is it for me. Well, Glenn, it was out of totally complete fucking nowhere for some shit that had nothing to do with him, because Daryl's dumb and fucking Daryl, what did you think that punch was gonna do? I feel like he would know better, but I also know Daryl is a hothead. He just can't take shit like this, and he can't take guys like Negan, but it was still just so severely fucking stupid. It cost Glenn's life, and it could have cost Daryl his life. Now Glenn's dead, and Glenn didn't even have, you know, like I said, that window to accept that he had to go like Abraham did. As sad as I was that Abraham whipped and he had to go like that, I still was able to keep it together. But Glenn's death was so much more brutal. Why is this way more gruesome than Abraham's death? Like, this is the good guy. Why are you doing that to him? I don't understand why they had to make us see it like that for so. And he's trying for 20 fucking minutes to say some shit to Maggie, and they really want us to get a good fucking look at this man that we've all grown to love and care for. They wanted us to get a real good look at him with his head bashing. They really wanted us to see it, and they wanted us to see it over and over and over again. Being a girl about it, and I don't fucking care. I didn't really think that Carl was gonna get his hand chopped off. I mean, the poor kid don't even got a fucking eye. I really did think that was another test that Negan was doing for Rick. If they would have crossed that line, I would have had to, at that point, turn the show off. I'm like, let me just say something about this episode of The Walking Dead. It was not entertaining television at all. Nothing was enjoyable about it. Nothing made me happy that it was back. I didn't think it was a fantastic hour of television. Like I said, the best part was the acting with the actors. I really respect what they do. I know there's no happy ending in The Walking Dead. I've been able to handle all these deaths like kind of quite alright. You lost Tyrese, you lost Hershel, which was, I thought that was terrible, but this is way worse than that. We lost Beth, just was nowhere near on this level. It was a lot to watch. That's the hardest that's ever been for me to get through an episode of television. I wish Abraham could have survived for the all-out war storyline. I wish Glenn could have survived because he's a great fucking guy. It would have been interesting to see how Glenn would have fit into that storyline, and probably would have become a much more grittier, hardened person. The next episode, it just can't be like this. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be able to work out. I'm not gonna sit through a fucking hour of depressing asshole. What would that do for my life? I don't care that it's fictional and it's not really happening to the actual people. I want there to be layers. I want to see the bad, the good, and the ugly, but there has to be some good too. The last good moment that there was the Rashomon kiss, and that seems like that was centuries ago. You know what I mean? I really wanted to see who died. Yes, I wanted to see who died. Yes, it's The Walking Dead. No, I did not expect rainbows and Skittles. Like I said before, I've watched this show for 6 seasons, and I've gone through every single death, and none of them have compared to this. They could have still got the bad. I didn't have to see it to that degree. You know, I do want to see Ezekiel and Sheba and those people. I want to see this developing friendship that seems to be happening with Carol and Morgan. I want to see more shown. I still, to this day, and I know shipping is like the last thing I need to be worried about, but I still want Carol and Daryl to admit their feelings for each other. I need to see what's up with Negan when he's not just being a head bashing villain. I do want to see his interaction with the people who are on his side and how they view him and his relationship with them and how he treats them as opposed to the way he treats people who killed half his guys. Now, I'm not at all pretending like Rick and his people are angels, because they are not. Now, but the reason that Negan to me is not just someone protecting his own and retaliating against someone who killed his people is because of the enjoyment of it.
He said, suck my nuts.
He's, when they get their heads bashed in with a bat wrapped in barbed wire that he fucking named after his wife like a sicko, he enjoys it way too much for me to empathize with him at all, okay? Who's gonna be in the comic relief now that Abraham is gone? Really, who? You're not gonna have like the soft moments with Glenn and Maggie, so where are those moments gonna come from? Because it can't be all doom, gloom, and death for a full hour every single week. It just can't be that. You have to have different layers and components to the show. So where is that gonna come in? I hope it comes in with these people at the Kingdom. I'm usually like real iffy about new characters, especially in The Walking Dead, because they usually disappoint me, but I'm looking forward to it this time. Man, this show, I should have never gotten to this fucking show, because why is it getting to me like this? It shouldn't make me this pissed off. I shouldn't be like, but it does get to me. And that's just fucking what it is. I don't know what else to say about it. Tell me your thoughts. Please don't judge me for mine. Thank you so much for watching. It's D. Marie Love on Keep It Scripted. Bye-bye.